put those away. now our time to greet each other and hug each other if you wish. Hugging time. Surely the presence. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and her grace. I can hear the rush of angels' wings. I say glory. together for this decade. So let that sink in as we feel the love and the warmth and the joy that is in this room. And we start our service with prayer. A few days ago, we celebrated the physical birth of Christ. Dear Mother, Father God, let us now joyfully celebrate daily the birth of consciousness of Christ within. So we affirm that every day and every moment, we have the choice to be born again into our highest selves, radiating love to share with the world. We bless this service as we bless every service, whether it takes place in a temple, synagogue, mosque, or church, where the abiding principle is the love, the light, and the joy that is God's. And so it is. And so we have some announcements. The first one, of course, you know, is turn off your cell phone, please. If you haven't done so already. I think we have a few new people visiting us. It's lovely to have you with us. If you did not receive a welcome packet, if you raise your hand, Bob or Jim so we'll get you a welcome packet. And there's a little card in there that we ask you to fill out because it helps us kind of schedule workshops and make plans for the coming year. And if you have that little card back into Bob, you will get a thank you present. So next Sunday, January 5th, Liz Racy will be speaking as we enter the new year, and our new theme for January is the power of surrender. And I want to tell you also, going along with our new theme, we have Unity 2020 calendars. They are available at the back. You can pick one up on the way out. This will help guide you also because there's wonderful affirmations in here for the year and themes. So please feel free to pick one of those up. And now this is very exciting news. Ta-da! Oh, come on! Ta-da! Here we go. We are embarking on a giving project for the year 2020. And we will be collecting supplies. It's called Newborns in Need. And this is an amazing organization. Bob shared a little pamphlet with me, and it's really wonderful. It provides newborns who are either ill, premature, or impoverished. It provides their caregivers with needed supplies. So January is our diaper month. So please feel free to bring diapers, and we'll probably find a place maybe up by the altar, Bob, to put those, and then there'll be other opportunities to give during the course of the year. But it's called Newborns in Needs, and it's a totally volunteer organization. Nobody takes, no CEO takes any portion of the money, so that's really wonderful. Okay, and now, oh yes, I said, so our prayer partner for today, Reverend Barbara, would you do it because Dan is not here. So our prayer partner for today is Reverend Barbara. She will meet you at the Golden Thrones if you need someone on prayer. Reverend Washington, would you be willing to also help in that aspect? Thank you. So Reverend John Washington is visiting with us today. He will also help with that. Thank you. We invite you to join us every Sunday after service when we have a time of fellowship, and today's snacks are being provided by Sue, who is probably still baking up some vegan delights. So,
she's here.
You know, last week we celebrated and kicked off, December is kind of known as the Festival of Lights, and we welcomed in Hanukkah with our Jewish brothers and sisters. And today I'm going to ask Milan and Mel to come up and to light our Kwanzaa candles, which are up here. Ladies, would you come up? And would you light that? So for those of you that don't know, Kwanzaa is a holiday it starts the day after Christmas and it runs for 7 days, and it's really developed to celebrate the African roots and African American roots. And so there's 7 nights, and the ladies are going to light our candles, and there's 7 principles. First one is unity. Doesn't that fit in well with us? In family, community, nation, and race. Self-determination, which is defining, naming, creating, and speaking for oneself. Collective work and responsibility to build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and to solve them together. Cooperative economics. Purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community. Creativity, to do what we can in any way we can to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than it has been inherited it, and finally faith. So thank you for lighting those beautiful candles. We appreciate that. Okay, so Next up, we are going to do our opening statement. And if you look in your program, you will see it. And together we say, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good. Amen. To Gaia, Mother Earth. If it feels comfortable to close your eyes, your hands in your lap open in the receiving mode. And we take a breath in of God's love, light, joy, happiness, peace, abundance. And as we finish our theme for the month of joy, let us breathe out with joy all the blessings that we have received this year. And we take another breath in of God's love, light, joy, peace, happiness. And we breathe out. There is a Christmas song, and Karen Christie sang it a few weeks back. And it's about, it's not the things you do at Christmas time, it's the Christmas things you do all year through. And Michael Doherty wrote, when the carols have been stilled, and the star-topped tree is taken down, when family and friends are gone, the work of Christmas begins. To heal a broken planet, to feed the hungry, to build bridges of trust, to share our gifts, to seek justice and peace for all people, to bring Christ's light to the world. So let us take a few moments now to focus on how we might bring the light of Christ into the world. So let us, as we step into 2020, focus and open our hearts on bringing Christ's light to the world as we affirm this as we sing the Alleluia. Shirona, is that how you last name? Shirona, it's pronounced. Thank you. Can you give a round of applause for Daniel and Karen? Thank you so much. And then I'll sing our next song. Introduce our speaker. Dr. Niki Elliott is a spiritual leader, she's a teacher, she's an author, she's a mom, and we are so fortunate that as her global presence grows, she still finds time for us. Would you please help me welcome Dr. Niki? Speak from Forgive the Past Creators.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy holidays to all of you. I'm a teacher. I just want to invite you all to just take a moment and just look at the neighbor next to you and just give a smile. One thing I just want to point out, as you all know, I'm teaching educational neurobiology at the University of Burbank. And for those of you who haven't heard me share this, it has been an amazing journey of looking at all the principles we understand in unity and all of the spirituality and the power of mindfulness and meditation and healing and spiritual healing and what it does for us. And understanding this chasm that we seem to continue to entertain of science and spirituality, and are we not using our whole mind when we're in our spiritual part, and are we only giving in to the logic of what we can prove tangibly in our scientific part. But when I sit from my informed perspective as a New Thought minister, and I sit from my perspective as a clinical professor looking at how the brain and the nervous system function, what we're finding as we continue this path is that we're understanding that science is now proving what we've been doing spiritually for a millennium. And one of the things that's so important that we are dealing with in our time right now that pertains to why I'm going to actually go back to looking at each other is the impact and the healing effect of the human eye gaze. And the impact and the healing effect of nervous system to nervous system communication. And the impact and the healing effect of a hug. Do you know that they are professional cuddlers now? No, for real. How many of you know this? People are professional cuddlers. That's the issue. The issue is, as we become more technologically advanced, as we become more self-sustained, and I work my job and I can afford to pay my bill, therefore I don't need to go out and socialize, or I don't have to come to church because my life is not threatened, I don't need the community to help protect me from the Ku Klux Klan, or whatever the thing is that we used to think we needed community for, that we think now Facebook. I saw you on Facebook, I'm good, I don't need to show up at the family reunion or the class reunion. Our biology does not agree with the advancements that we are participating in society. And so as people have more and more mental health issues and more anxiety issues and these higher explosions of unwellness, we are surviving but less thriving. So now there's an industry emerging. They say people need physically 5 hugs a day. They're starting to measure how many hugs a day do you need to be well. Not just to get by, but to thrive. So 5 hugs. And they find that most people are not getting 5 hugs a day. Even people who live in a household with other people. They're doing research now to say, oh, kids are gaming. Did you really hang out with your friends? So they're seeing, when they hook them up to brain scans, are we getting the same neurological benefit from seeing each other over the screen versus physically being in each other's presence? And there's not the same correlation of the nervous system's ability to heal and reset and get the body back into a healing balance for dealing with what we go through on a day-to-day basis to help us come back, reset, bounce back to life. And so there is emerging a profession of professional cuddlers. People pay people to hug them for an hour. The hug you would get just cuddled up with your grandchild or your partner or your friend while you just watch a TV, watch a movie. Think about how much cuddling just happens, just side by side, touching each other for the time it takes to watch a movie or to watch a parade. We have industry evolving to pay people to feel that basic need. So we're going to do that for free right now because this is not what you're going to take. We haven't even gotten to the reason I'm standing up here. So but really, eye gazing disarms the sympathetic nervous system and brings us out of the stress response and says, I see you. When I look into your eyes, you are seen, you are safe with me, and you are soothed by that connection. And that provides the security that the nervous system and the brain needs to let the body go into healing response. So right now, just find somebody and look in their eyes and just communicate something that makes them feel seen, that makes them feel safe, that makes them feel soothed, and give them a hug. And understand that we came together to be a part of each other's healing. We don't just show up in the same place to do the same thing at the same time, side by side, parallel play. That's how babies start off, right? They start off, this is mine, and then we come into greater and greater understandings that it is through our shared nervous system experience that we help each other heal, that we help each other grow. And the potential for stepping into this new decade in power and possibility, it comes through maintaining and understanding the importance of these connections. And that's why this issue of forgiveness is so important. Because the more we go through life saying, you hurt me, I'm done with you, you didn't give me what I want, I'm done with you, then we're cutting off our lifeline, and then, down the line, who do we need to pay? A professional cuddler. Because life is full of situations that create the need for the opportunities to repair. And I know that forgiveness, this idea of how do I repair, it is the biggest thing that I deal with, especially working with energy work or spiritual work. They did that thing. And they made me mad. They hurt me, they stole, they cheated, they lied, they did the thing they weren't supposed to do. You tell me this Bible says forgive. See over here in Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 32, what you want to bother me about this? Put away from you all bitterness and wrath, and anger, and wrangling, and slander, and all malice, and be kind to one another. Be tenderhearted. Be forgiving to one another. Does that mean, that feels good, it sounds good on this paper, but in the day-to-day activation of that, does that mean I'm saying it's okay what you did wrong to me? Because I don't want to let them off the hook. I want all this, I forgive, and God forgives me because I forgave, I'm set free because I set someone free. I want that part. But can I get that part and you still be on the hook for that decide how you're moving forward in your life, and whether that's going to include people you love, including repairs with people we love who hurt us, so we don't need to pay professional cutlers, because these hugs and this connection is free. When we are willing to do the work to stay in community and do the repair. Because at the end of the day, we're a bunch of wounded nervous systems bumping up against each other. And the things we hold people to forever, they're seeing life from a completely different set of wounds. And our best effort in truth is very rare. The chances, the times in life when people really are aiming to hurt us, really calculated and planned it out and went all the way to stick that dagger, very rare. But the majority of what we hold are the energy and the effects of wounded nervous systems bumping up against each other, all doing the best they can to get a measure of joy and peace out of life and needs met that aren't satisfied in some other healthy way. And the only way back to the free hugs and eye gazing and human contact that heals us and repairs us is this forgiveness. But it's a two-part process, right? So there's the spiritual part that we keep reading about, because everything that identifies our faith as metaphysical Christians is around forgiveness. When people would come to Jesus and say, I'm ready for a healing, Lord, come on, hook me up, touch my shoulder, touch the hem of your garment, it's all good. What did he say? Do you have anything against your brother, dad, or sister? If so, go back, forgive, then come back, I got your healing for you right now. Right? So that's the spiritual part of forgiveness, is forgiving the offender, releasing the offender of your wrath for what happened. That's one part of it. And that's the part that we stay in from that spiritual perspective. That's the part that feels hard. How do I say it's okay what you did to me? And I have found so many times to say forgive and forget. I forgive, but how come I never forgot? So what's wrong with me that I'm still thinking about it? Does it mean I didn't forgive you? How many of you have thought that? I still think of it, and I still remember it very well. So does that mean I didn't really forgive? But I love Joe Dispenza because he's on the energy and neurobiology side with me. So I want to read to you what Joe Dispenza shares about his idea of forgiveness. And then we're going to take it into the other side that we're going to work on today. Joe Dispenza, how many of you know his work? He is amazing. I highly recommend you check him out. Dispenza. There's a lot of work in meditation. A lot of it is very in alignment with what we do in New Thought, but they hook people to brain scans and teach meditation practices and do different emotional energy techniques. And really, he is a part of the movement that's kind of moving the science to show what it is we do spiritually through our meditation and spiritual practices. But this is what he's saying. It's fair to say then that true forgiveness is breaking the emotional charge and energetic bond to our painful past, whatever that might be. And what you're left with instead is a memory. So is he saying forget and forget, that we actually are forgetting? Would that help you if you had to stop worrying about the forgetting part? So what he's saying is what's left when you remove the emotional charge from what happened is that you're left with a memory. And a memory without the emotional charge, the anger, the guilt, the rage, is called wisdom. And that's the name of the game in our 3D reality. So what he's saying is, what if, we're going to entertain possibilities here. We're going to entertain possibilities. What if it's not forgive and forget? Because that forget part is the part that we get tripped up on. Forgive, meaning in this case, releasing the emotional energy. Because that's what keeps tying us back in the loop of the past. If I ask you right now, think of somebody that hurt you, and think of that situation. Would you agree that you could create the exact same mix of chemicals, the anger, your blood pressure, it will all come up in you from the emotional aspect as if it was happening right now. So the work of our meditation practice, that keeps us spinning in the past. So the emotional energy, as long as there's emotional energy left in the thing that has upset us from the past, our body has to still be free. So it's a two-part thing. It's a conscious decision from the spiritual perspective to say, I forgive you, I let this go. But it's incomplete from a biological perspective until we also have a process of getting the emotional energy of what happened to us out of our body. Did I say that clear? You want me to say it again? So you said say it again? Okay, say it again. So we got the first part. We're going to do our spiritual metaphysical part. I forgive you. In that contact with that person, I release you from my anger, from my wrath. from the emotional, mental. I'm making the decision to repair. But that does not move the emotional energy out of the body. So our memories of the things that have happened to us live in two places. They live in our thoughts, and it lives in our body. But most of us, myself included, till I learned these practices, never learn how to move the residual energy of what we've been through out of our body. So we think we've been failing at forgiveness, but what if we just have had an incomplete process of continuing to just move that emotion? Because the thing is, you want to be able to remember the thing from the past and go, yeah, that happened. And the wisdom part is, what did I learn from it and how was I transformed by it? When you have that statement at the end of an offense, that's when we know we really have not only forgiven, but are liberated. If you can look back and say, I know they did this, and this was how I felt about it, but when I tell that story, I'm not getting the cortisol going, the blood pressure is not going. It's a story of a memory of what happened, but I feel free, neutrally charged emotionally, and I can tell you, and from that, this was what I learned about myself, this was how I transformed that pain, and this is how I grew in compassion, and this is how I'm changing the world. Can you see the difference in your life in the situations where you were able to make that whole through line to wisdom? And the ones where it just stays stuck, where I say, I opened my mouth and said, I forgive you. But every time I think about you, that story plays on loop, and that whole chemical cocktail, it kicks up over and over. That's why that chemical cocktail, we keep thinking of it like kind of psychologically when we tell the story. Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die from it. Everybody heard that statement, right? But this is why it's real. The reason that statement is real is because the upset and the unforgiveness and the continuum loop of that emotional memory in our body, it is killing us. Because that our adrenaline, the cortisol, all of those neurotransmitters that run in our bodies when we're in fear mode, when we stay in fight or flight, are suppressing the immune system, keeping the body and the organs from healing. So we literally are continuing to entertain a poison that's wearing down our own physical body as we continue to hold those emotions and entertain them and nurse them. And we stay such in those loops of the past. So where's our power? Is our power in continuing to go through the past? No, because if we're building our future, so we got this beautiful bowl here, and you all have your things in mind that you want to let go. I mean, you got your vision boards ready, you got your papers all cut out and ready to get 2020 going. But you don't want to create your future for this next decade based on decisions you would make about how you want to live, based on what you want to avoid from how you suffered in the past. Because without that discharge of that energy, we're going to plan 2020 with goals and mindsets and safeguards that keep us from experiencing those things that happen, which could be a far more limited version of the grandness that the Holy Spirit has in mind for you. So what we really want to do is find our way. What will it take to pull all that energy out of that painful past, to come and anchor in this now moment for a second, so that you're not projecting worries and anxieties for the future that wouldn't be there if we weren't holding on to the body's memory of its need to be safe and to not allow what happened in the past to happen again. How's that feel? So remember, it's a two-part process. It's the verbal connection to tell somebody, I forgive you, I'm willing to repair, and the steps we take to repair trust, to say, okay, you said you won't do it again, so let me put my toe out again. And that's the things we do in the physical, in that connection. But the other thing is moving that energy out of the body. Would you like to try that for now with me real quick? So I had to think about what would that take for myself? Because whenever people say, get in the now moment, you have to be in the now. Because are you safe right now? You weren't safe then when that thing happened that we couldn't control. We agreed? We didn't have the mechanism to control it. We didn't feel safe. In this moment, physically, in this company of loving energy, would you agree that we are safe now? So I had to say, well, what does the now moment offer me that I can't get from my worries of an uncertain future? What is this now moment offering me that I can't get from repairing? I can't make the thing unhappen that happened to me. But in this now moment, I can tell my nervous system, I'm safe now. All real and perceived threats are gone now. They're not here right now. So how can I bring my energy back that I keep? Think about how much energy, this is my question to you. How much creative energy would you say right now in your life is being diffused by the amount of mental energy you spend in the past, in things that have hurt you? How much of your creative mental energy is tied up now in your ruminations and your anxiety and worries about your fears for your uncertain future? And how much of that worrying we do about that uncertain future ever happens? Well, they say like less than 5% of the things we worry about ever happen. But how much mental and creative energy that could have been building your next entrepreneurial adventure, or planning that strategy for your trip around the world, or that next movie project, or whatever the thing. How much of that creative energy of healing and finding that new partner for your life is spent and diffused, scattered out? So when you want to transform, when we want to transform our lives, the Holy Spirit is saying, meet me now. In this now moment, right now. We don't know if the mortgage is getting paid tomorrow, or who drove you into bankruptcy last week, but right now, did you wake up with enough to eat today? Right now, in this moment, do you have a mind and a heart and a soul that's able to connect with the power of the Holy Spirit and get a new direction that is far more liberating? Because what God is thinking about you and your potential for 2020 has nothing to do with what happened to you in the past, unless it's fuel for catalyzing the thing that you are meant to do to transform in the world. And so we anchor in this moment. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and I can't fix what happened yesterday, but in this moment, tell your nervous system, I'm safe now. All real and perceived threats are gone. So I can consolidate all this random energy that I have diffused all over the place and collect it and catalyze what is meant to be born through me by the power of the Holy Spirit for 2020. Would you be willing to do that with me for a second? So I had to make it up because I have a hard time when they say meditate, be now. My mind would go everywhere. So I needed to create a functional little process to get myself into the now moment. So I'd like to share it with you. And as we finish, when you feel what it feels like to just sit in the now, I'm going to invite Christine to just come up and just lead you into the burning bowl so that the things that come up along these paths for you, that you can release and forgive the things that keep your mind out of this powerful potential of the present. All of your power and potential for catalyzing the life you want is anchored by what God can speak to you through the clean space of now moment awareness. So I'm going to invite you, if it feels comfortable to you, to find yourselves uncrossed and empty-handed. We're going to try something called vagus nerve breath. So a lot of times in meditation, we're taught to breathe however you breathe. I want to share with you that science is now finding that there are specific breath patterns that help us get out of the fight-flight mode and bring the body into alignment for healing. So the vagus nerve breath, how many of you heard of the vagus nerve? It's the longest nerve in the body, and it is what takes us out of fight or flight and puts the body in heal and repair. It also connects us to our intuitive faculties when we get in that space. So the breath that activates the vagus nerve is when our exhales take longer than our inhales. The reason for that is because if you have time for a super long exhale, there must not be a tiger coming for you, right? So just talk about from a pure evolutionary perspective. A long exhale tells the brain, I must be safe because I have so much time to breathe. Because a chasing breath, right? A freeze breath is, right? So if you got this time to go, brain says, okay, we're safe. Deregulate, downregulate. So what they find is an inhale that takes about 4 seconds, filling the belly with air for 4 seconds to full. Immediately followed by an exhale that takes 6 seconds to completely empty belly button into your spine. Stimulates this vagus nerve and brings you into a state where the body feels safe and can now move into states of repair. So I want you to close your eyes and just find that vagus nerve breath. Inhale a balloon. Exhale a pancake. Belly button into spine for 6. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. Without thinking about it too much, try to continue that vagus nerve breath through our practice. Don't let yourself get stressed out or judgy about it. And if it feels comfortable for you, I invite you to bring your mind's awareness to the point where your feet touch the floor beneath you. And allow that point to represent for you the powerful possibilities of the present moment. For we know that it is this now moment awareness that opens the window for the Holy Spirit to live and move in, through, and as us, for catalyzing a limitless potential for our future. So the most important thing that we do when we act in forgiveness is to call all of our emotions and energy back from the experiences that we've had so that we consolidate our life force energy, our mind, our awareness, and our potential in this now moment. And as you continue your vagus nerve breath, remind yourself that you are safe now. All real or perceived threats are gone. You are safe in God's hands. Your heart and your well-being is protected in this now moment. Remind yourself that regardless of what you have experienced, that you love yourself unconditionally. And allow yourself in this now moment to feel compassion for your present condition. And remember that no matter what you have been through, no matter what you have done, you are good enough to belong here. And we are all so grateful for the gifts you have come to share with the world. So as we prepare for this burning bowl ceremony, our most important act is to consolidate our emotional energy, turning emotions into energy in motion. And so to symbolize that retrieval of our life force energy, I invite you, if it feels comfortable, to imagine that with your left hand, you are reaching back into your past. And without entertaining the stories, just simply imagine yourself unraveling your mental and emotional energy from all the people, experiences, disappointments that you have left, little pieces of your broken heart, pieces of your mental and emotional energy that need to come home. Simply imagine calling that energy home. Feel yourself bringing that energy in, feel it through the tips of your feet. And watch yourself be filled with that past energy that you have allowed to drain and be diffused. Feel yourself becoming full of yourself in the highest and best way. And if it feels comfortable to you, you can imagine that you're retrieving along the timeline of your past all the pieces of your broken heart that have been left behind in incidents and experiences and individuals. Gather all those pieces of your broken heart and fill your heart to full in this now moment. Committing to move into 2020 with your whole heart and all of your vital life force energy present in the now moment. And now, with your right hand, imagine with your right hand you're reaching into your fears of your uncertain future. And allow your mind's eye, power of the Spirit, Holy Spirit, to reveal to you all the places where your mental, emotional, and physical energy are stuck in fear, doubt, worry, and rumination of your fears of your uncertain future. And again, without entertaining the stories, you simply imagine that your mental, emotional energy is unraveling from those worries, those incidents, Again, draw 100% of your life force energy out of your uncertain future. Draw all of that mental, emotional energy into your physical body. Filling yourself to full life force energy in the present moment. If you find big emotions that come up when you do this, simply remind yourself, I am safe now. All real or perceived threats are gone. It is safe to consolidate my life force energy and make myself available to be used by the Holy Spirit. And now just take a moment to see what it feels like in your body. Take a mental picture of what it feels like. Just sit in the now moment. All energy from past and future consolidated to fully become energy in motion for your powerful future potential. And it is here in this space of the powerful present that we begin our burning bowl ceremony.
Let's start by, in the safety that Dr. Niki has created for us. In your program, you will find a sheet of paper. And what you're going to do is you're going to write down because to shift our consciousness, the purpose of the burning bowl is to create a new space for the coming year. And in this safety space, let's allow your heart to tell you what you want to release and write down what no longer serves you. If you need a pen or a pencil, please raise your hand and one of our ushers will give it to you. And know that letting go begins the moment you put your pen to paper. And it is your conscious awareness that activates the release of perceived failures and wounds, regrets, and ideas that no longer serve you. You can describe the events as much or as little as you want. It can be as simple as a name or a word, or more in depth. And let your heart open to the flow as it releases old wounds, negativity, or unhealthy thought patterns. This writing down allows us to open to the power of inspiration, insight, wisdom, and love. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know and now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling to make it through another day, you got to let it go, let it all whole affirmation. Let's say that together. Today, I release what I don't want. I let go and let God do the work in this sacred experience. In this, I am healed and renewed. I open my heart to love, and I am blessed with peace, joy, and harmony. When you're ready, you can take your paper to the burning bowl, and you can drop your paper into the fire, and visualize the smoke taking your thoughts. For centuries, indigenous people used the smoke as a symbol of their thoughts and prayers rising to the Great Spirit. And as you watch your paper burn, you can visualize those unwanted thoughts rising up in smoke, being released for you. And the affirmation is also up here if you would like to say it as you put it in. And allow yourself to experience whatever you're fearing and feeling, whether it's fear, anxiety, sadness, loss, gratitude. Let those feelings lift as the fire consumes your paper. And then you will take from Aixa a new piece of paper in an envelope. That's going to be the second part of our burning bowl. When you get back to your seat, when you have your new piece of paper in your envelope, you're going to address the envelope to yourself. And we're going to take a moment to turn toward the future. We're going to visualize what it is that you want to experience in life and how you want it to take shape. This year is the adventure of your lifetime. It's the unleashing of your inner fire, your divine self. It begins here and now as you put those words to paper. this is your opportunity to create, put words to paper, what you want to have happen in 2020. You can go, do, be anything you desire, anything you perceive, because you are a creative expression of the infinite, and your best life is ready to be born. There's a saying that when opportunity knocks, open the door, and Milton Berle, who probably make one of us remember who that is, said, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. So this is your opportunity to build that door into what you want for 2020. When you're done writing it, you're going to put it in the envelope, and that envelope will be mailed to you at some point during this next year for you to take stock of your life and to remind you and to reignite in you what you want. So you need to put your entire address on the envelope, and then it is going to be collected by our ushers. We'll put it when the offertory goes around. Although, as Bob has reminded me, we're not going to put our offerings in the envelope.
They're not there. I don't know.
Okay.
You are a creative expression of the infinite, and your best life is ready to be born. See, a few people are still writing, but we're going to move ahead. If you open your program, you will find an affirmation that has been provided to us by Dr. Niki. So what I'd like you to do is to take a moment and read that perhaps to yourself first. And then together we say, today I fully embrace the power of forgiveness. With the help of the Holy Spirit, I transform painful emotions into energy in motion to create a new life in the decade ahead. Now I'm going to ask Jim, would you come forward with a prayer for us, folks? Dr. Niki, I'm going to ask you to stand with us here. And here we like to rub our hands together to get that energy going. And we envelop these prayers with the miracle of healing love, affirming that the I am of these prayer seekers harmonizes with the supreme I am in each of them and each of us. We are, God is, and we are all one. And so it is. And so now we have an opportunity to share and receive. So I'm going to ask you to take your gifts into your hand. into your hand, and together we're going to say, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me. She blesses me. She blesses me. God is so good. She blesses me. He prospers me. He prospers me. God is so good, He prospers me. Thank you, Jim, for bringing forward the gifts. I'm going to ask Dr. Niki if you would stand with us also. And again, we rub our hands together. We get that energy that is going. And we say, we bless these gifts joyfully given, which we joyfully accept. We affirm all the good and abundance in the universe is ours. These gifts will be used to spread the light, the love, the truth from the small building in Burbank into our community and our world. And so it is.
So it is.
And now we're going to make our circle.